Going on, dudes and dudettes? So it looks like the other day Justin Herbert was finally taken out of that walking boot. So he was out there in practice the past couple of days and probably not doing too much, maybe working off by himself. He did not play in the game over the weekend, but maybe there's a possibility he has a chance to play in this last preseason game before it's a week off and then it's the regular season, because they took away one of those preseason games to add to the regular season later. So yeah, that's why it's always weird that they get pretty much a bye week right before the season, but definitely looking forward to seeing him finally out there, hopefully sooner than later. And the Chargers had made quite a bit of moves, signing and letting go of some guys here and there this past week or so. They did re-sign that outside linebacker, Savion Jackson. They did sign a tight end in Tucker Fisk. They signed a linebacker, Frank Ginda, and safety, Jalen Phillips. But in the process, they also waived quarterback Max Duggan and wide receiver Leon Johnson. And they also signed the defensive lineman Tier Tart, who is a really big body. He even signed like a few days before this last weekend's preseason game and ended up getting a couple of snaps in there as well. Looked pretty good. Looked like a pretty big like space eater and all that stuff to help stop the run, and got through also to get some tackles for loss. So looking forward to seeing him stay on there, because I know Chargers were interested in him in free agency. I believe he went to Miami. He got let go, and then he was like, Chargers were one of the first people to pounce on him and were able to sign him. So hopefully he is staying on the roster at some point. I know that linebacker Frank Ginda, I think he recently played for that UFL different spring league and won like defensive player of the year in that league. So he's a pretty good, solid player. Hopefully he ends up making the team and helping out this defense as well. But some pretty good signings here and there. We'll see where this roster ends up in the next couple of weeks. And for Duke football, looks like the transfer Maalik Murphy is going to be quarterback number 1, which is pretty cool. USC made their decision at quarterback number 1. I'll get into that in a video the following day, but this is going to be more about Duke, Lakers, and the Chargers video. But yeah, congrats to him. Looks like a very talented player. I think if he stays at least 2 years at Duke, he'll be one of the top quarterbacks in that year's next draft, in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully he does end up sticking around. Then Grayson Allen did return to Duke to have his own little private workout, which is pretty cool. Even like a picture that they shot of him doing some pull-ups. You can see in the background the GOATs, Coach K, working with on the bench press with like some 35, maybe 25 pounds on each side. So yeah, he's still putting in work, even though he's still retired. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, even Grayson Allen looked pretty swole in some of those pictures. So I wonder if this is just him building up his body at the late end of the season, right before like training camp starts, and then it's going to eventually end up going away because of how much running he has to do during the season. But yeah, he looks a little bit bigger, in my opinion, than he has before. So maybe he's just adding that too, to be able to pound and go in with some of those bigger guards out there in the NBA. Then a top 30 overall small forward in that 2025 class, Nicholas Kamenia. Looks like he put Duke in his final 5 as well pretty recently. So yeah, very talented guy. I think he's like 6'8", so hoping to get this guy on campus at some point in the near future. And the Duke women's team has been putting up this player a lot. I believe they had signed, I believe her name is Toby Fournier, and I believe she's from Canada. But I remember them saying like at some point earlier this year that she had graduated officially or something like that, but she had committed to Duke from what I saw back in 2023. So I don't know if she was a senior back then, or maybe just committed at early as a sophomore or junior or something like that, and it's just barely getting to campus. But that was before I always talked about other sports, the secondary sports that I don't either watch as much or paid attention to as much over the past couple of years. But now that I am, I was kind of wondering like, why do they keep showing this chick off? But it looks like she's a pretty talented player from out of the country, so hopefully she'll bring some good positive stuff for that women's basketball program. And there was an updated list on the Duke basketball 2025 recruiting watch list or something like that. So of course it starts off with a lot of the 5 stars. Cameron Boozer to start off with, 5-star Koa Pita as well, 5-star Nate Ament, 5-star Braden Burries, and 5-star Caleb Wilson, and many more. So Yeah, you heard me talk about a couple of those guys pretty recently, and a bunch of guys I never even heard of as well. So yeah, they're definitely doing work in that 2025 class because maybe they're assuming another max exodus as well from this Duke basketball program. And when it came to the scheduling of the non-conference for the basketball team, they did finally set a date for their Madison Square Garden game they seem to do annually, and it looks like it's going to be against Illinois, who I think we talked about that within the past couple months or so, but now it has become official, so that's going to be like around February 22nd. They do have a pretty crazy non-conference schedule, just looking at it. Again, obviously, they start off with some of the better teams like Kentucky, Arizona, Kansas, Auburn. Obviously, you have to play North Carolina twice, and ACC play. Sometimes it's up and down, but this year looks like there's a lot of good transfers that came in to the conference and throughout the conference, so it's going to be tough as well. So I don't know why they scheduled so many of these tough teams, especially because you have like a really good player in Cooper Flagg, but he is still a year like behind in his development because he should be in high school, as I've always mentioned. But if he's up for it and he's ready to be that number one pick, then we'll see what he has. It looks like the Lakers have signed a couple of players to Exhibit 10 contracts to join them in training camp. Looks like it's Quincy Olivari and Kyler Kelly, who I think they're okay. They're not that great. I think Olivari was on their summer league team. Kelly was more of like in the Boston's like summer league team or G League team as well, especially this last year. But I don't know, a couple guys, a couple young bodies to bring in, see what they got. Maybe if they're good enough, they could probably take one of those two-way deals that some of those other guys have, and if not, then maybe they could still join the Lakers Summer League team as well. So looking forward to seeing where that ends up going. Then when it came to Michael Cooper, yes, apparently he's going to have a jersey retirement on January 13th, so that's pretty cool. I always just assumed that he's one of like the ex-great Lakers, especially during that Showtime era and a little bit after that, but apparently they never retired his jersey, so that's going to be pretty cool for him, and congrats. And Lakers rookie Dalton Knecht looks like he has the 5th best odds to win Rookie of the Year after this season, according to BetUS, but I don't know, he wasn't even a top 5 pick. He's considered that. I don't even know if he's going to start or play as much coming off the bench for the Lakers, especially early, like some of those other guys who are higher than him betting-wise, but I don't know if that's just where the money's going because he's a Laker, and obviously Laker fans are just that crazy and will bet on a guy like that, or they have some belief that he could do that numbers-wise and at least be in the running. We'll see what ends up happening, but looking forward to seeing what he can add to this team this year. And Rich Paul, I don't know if he's exactly LeBron's agent. I know he runs, I already forgot what they're called, some pretty much big agency out there. But yeah, Clutch Sports, excuse me. So yeah, apparently he kind of stopped or talked to a lot of like the GMs from not executing a trade that would involve LeBron James before like this last NBA trade deadline a couple months ago or right before the season ended for him to go to Golden State, which would have been pretty interesting. I don't know how many players the Lakers would have gotten back and if it would have been worth it, and even the draft picks too obviously would have sucked because they'll be later in the draft and not high pick ones. But yeah, I'm kind of glad he kind of stopped it, but he said he more stopped it more the fact that he didn't want like another blemish on LeBron's career to where this is like the 4th or 15 whatever that he's been on, that he's jumped to in his NBA career. He kind of wanted him to stay in LA as of right now, which is going to be on his 1-year deal basically, and who knows if he's still going to play after this season. But I don't know if LeBron has a no trade clause because you can't trade him either way unless he says yes. But if it was Curry coming to LA, I would obviously love that. I don't know who they would send, probably like Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell. Probably have to get another third team in there because I'm pretty sure Golden State doesn't want a lot of those guys. But I don't know, I prefer that scenario than the first one. And the Lakers schedule, the full one, did come out this week, which is pretty interesting. I believe that opener, they're playing the night game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So obviously Boston plays that first game because they're the champion. They get that whole ring ceremony and stuff, but the Lakers cap off that opening night, so that's going to be pretty fun, especially against a nice and exciting team like Minnesota. The Christmas game, they're playing against the Golden State Warriors, which isn't surprising, maybe a little bit, just because there's other teams that were kind of left out of playing on Christmas, which is usually safe for like the best teams. Maybe some people believe that the Lakers and Warriors aren't going to be the best this season, but it's all about money and eyeballs watching TV on Christmas Day, so that's pretty much why they put these teams together. I think this is what it was last year. I could be wrong. I used to always watch every game on Christmas, and now I'm too busy traveling and stuff and don't ever know which family's house I'm at, so I just kind of always forget to watch. I just watch highlights later. But yeah, either way, looks like a pretty good schedule overall. Nothing too crazy. I know their group play is going to start for that NBA Cup. I believe November 15th it starts up against the Spurs. Then November 19th is play against the Utah Jazz. November 26th they have to play against the Suns. And November 29th they play against Oklahoma City Thunder. So yeah, that's that NBA Cup that they ended up winning the last year. I already forgot what they called it. It's like an in-season tournament. Now it's the NBA Cup. But Lakers won that last year. Didn't really do anything. They were kind of forced to put up that banner too by the NBA, and everybody's like, "Oh, Lakers are putting up a dumb banner," but it's because the NBA told them to, not because the Lakers are that dumb enough to put up something like that. They don't put up, participation trophy awards up like most of these places in the NBA. But yeah, I don't really care if they win or not, because when they played those couple of extra games just to get in to that tournament and advance through, there were some pretty tough games and some high-level competition, and it kind of tired them out. Heading into the All-Star break, that's kind of when they started falling off a bit record-wise. So they just kind of chill out, play good in some of those games, and then don't really care about winning the thing this year. I think they should be fine heading into the next NBA trade deadline, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, looking forward to the season coming up. I know training camp starts like mid to late September, so still a bit of time, but football, at least college football, is starting this weekend coming up, so that's going to be fun, and then eventually NFL pretty soon after that, so I will be pretty busy. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.